is, but I'll be in my live. I'll be in the live for about a half hour, maybe. And literally, my phone just goes out. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to go to the phone company and try to figure out what's going on with that, because you guys, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. It just went down like that. So I am sorry. If you can come back into the chat, I would love talking to you. I was just talking to a woman. She was just telling me that her husband is having an affair with her neighbor that just moved. And the thing is, the neighbor that just moved, probably they have been doing it for quite some time. So I was talking about narcissism and how it affects the brain, how it affects your overall health. And I was actually too also explaining how to try to remove and how it affects your nervous system, and how being in a narcissistic relationship can actually change the way you even think. So, with that said, we must be mindful of what we are feeling within our nervous system. So, this is why I specialize on nervous system regulation, because your whole mind has been dysregulated. Your whole precept has been dysregulated, and it's just very hard to find self. And you need to return to self whenever you are with these types of people. And returning to yourself is a process. It takes time. It's not an overnight thing. And a lot of times it depends on how long you've been in that relationship. It depends on how your family dynamic was in your family dynamic, because a lot of people that get in these dynamics is because they come from a family that has that dynamic, if you get what I'm saying. So it's really, it really has an effect on how you move in the world and your nervous system. And then now you're in survival mode. Now you don't trust anyone. Now you're looking at people with this, like, and it even affects your ability to even see anybody as safe, right? So you guys that are tapping in, I was talking about narcissistic abuse, and a woman, and I hope she finds the chat, but we were having a conversation. She basically was just saying that her husband was having an affair with with the neighbor, and the neighbor has moved, so he's at the neighbors, right? And so we were kind of talking about that, and I was really talking about narcissistic abuse, like how to identify it, and that's another part of it. And I'm not a doctor to diagnose him with narcissistic abuse, but he is literally breaking her heart. And so as I was talking to her, my live just went you know and like I said earlier, I get on live, and within 15 to 20 minutes it just goes out. So when you are in a narcissistic triangle, what's normally happens is your nervous system is dysregulated. I mean, you can't, and sometimes it happens in a very slow way that you don't even realize that you're being affected through the nervous system. But what's so interesting is that once you get out of that, and that's why I say that's what I've been coaching about for the last, I would say 6 years. I've been coaching on nervous system regulation, because it's a key element to who we are, how we move in the world, how our health will be, how our health will be, how we will be within our relationships with our family, our friends, etc. It really affects our lives. And so I have been having some sessions, and it just been very concerning that, you know, it's just so many. And I made it my other, like before I was dropped, I said that they're doing studies on narcissism, and I personally, I think everybody that's on social media has a little bit of narcissism, to be honest with you. But the severe case pathological narcissism, I that's another story. But one thing this article was saying, like, it was like 1 out of 5 people in your circle has narcissism. So you take 20 people, you at a party with 20 people, there are at least 4 people in there that has narcissistic disorder. So what do we do about that? Right? What do we do about that? Right? And how do we identify, you know, if we are, or the person that we're seeing is narcissistic? And the one thing that I can say is that you won't know right away, and time will tell. That's why you need to move very slow. You need to move in that relationship very slow, because the telltale signs of what they will do. They will gaslight you. They will promise you the world. They will promise you love. They will promise you happiness. They will promise, they will promise, they will promise, and never keep those promises. That's only to draw you in so they can push you away, discard you, draw you in, discard you. And every time they discard you, there are a lot of times they're sleeping with someone else. They always have a supply. And so how do you identify that this person is causing you a lot of pain? It's not just their actions, it's how you feel around them. What is your stomach telling you? What are you feeling like your jaws are clenching when you are around this person? Don't like, sometimes you can be with them and you'll have like this, like something's amiss. That, like, listen to those things, because it's like, it's, that's what's protecting you. And a lot of times what your mind will say, oh, you know, you're being too picky, or you being too hard, or you shouldn't be like this, you shouldn't be like that. No, you need to be like that. You need to be like that. You need to be very vigilant, because they can seek you out. They smell you. They're very dark. They smell you, and then they start to beguile, because they're looking for people that are fresh out of relationships. Especially if you have a pattern that you go from one relationship to another relationship, how can you protect yourself? Because that pattern is showing already in itself that you're not loving yourself. You're not loving yourself enough to set some time away apart to be with self, to be with you, to really sit with you and understand the why. You know, what happened in maybe in your childhood, what happened in maybe a previous relationship. Those things actually affect how you choose a mate the next time, or how you choose a mate when you get out of your parents' home. Because if there's narcissistic behavior within the family, you're definitely going to show that out to a narcissist, because a narcissist can smell you coming. They're predators by design. They're predators is in their DNA. They can't stop. They don't know how to stop. And even those that go to therapy, it takes them a long time of therapy. And even when they go to therapy, they literally go backwards sometimes, because it's in their DNA. And let me get it straight, they're not born narcissists. They learn to be narcissists through the interacting of family. Like, you know, um, especially a lot of narcissists have either daddy issues or they have mommy issues. What is that telling you? What is that telling you? It is a deeper level of sadness. And you have to care for yourself because they are unaware of what that means. You are not, you're not, you're not going to change them. You're not going to change them. And they will not take responsibility. They will spend a lifetime going back and forth with other people while they torment you in the process. And then when you finally get out of it, when you finally decide to get out of it, if you can, because a lot of people will go back to that person over and over again. For why? The first time I met you feeling, that first time I met you feeling is what keeps you in the relationship. Even if it was so crazy, because a narcissist will draw you in, will spend a month drawing you in, and then you spend a lifetime trying to get that month feeling that they gave you, and you do that for 10 or 12 years, sometimes 13, sometimes 20. Some people have been in a relationship for 20 years and don't even realize that you are in love with the feeling. You don't really even love them. You love what they made you feel like at that time. And when you finally get that in your head, you're not in love with the person, you're in love with the spirit, the experience that they made you feel at that time. They made you feel validated. They made you feel loved. They made you feel like you were special, important. No, they were mirroring what you needed. They took some time, and especially narcissists that are professional, it doesn't take time for them to get to know who you are. And then they begin their beguiles. And that's why I said, like, all you guys that been with me for a while, the people that been with me for a while all know that 3.5 years ago I went on a noni fast. I didn't let no man touch me because they're untrustworthy. And they were untrustworthy at the time because that's what I was pulling. That don't mean all men are untrustworthy. I was unhealed, so I was literally the collector of bad men that had no sense, but I let them have no sense with me. And so at that point too, you have to take responsibility, because taking responsibility is your freedom. Saying, okay, maybe I did get in this relationship too fast. I'll take the responsibility of that and move differently. But in all my situations, and thank God I didn't stay in those relationships for very long, because my intuition was telling me this is not right. This is something wrong with this, you know? And so as I started seeing, okay, how can I really change? Because if you don't deal with it, if you do not get it in the bud, you will continually meet a narcissist man just in a different suit, in a different coat, in a different pair of pants, in a different tinny. But it's still the same man until you get a grip of becoming you, loving you, understanding the why, understanding the inner child that is causing you to allow someone else to deplete you. And it's sad because no one deserves to be treated like that. But you don't know until you know. And like I said earlier, you literally have to vet these men these days, because we're in this big shift, and no fault to them, because they were trained to be in the patriarch. They were trained to be part of the patriarch, because they are the machines to corporations. And when the foundation of this country was built, it was built on making people workhorses and making men. That's why they pushed the masculine energy theme the way they did, because they needed men to feel like, I need you to work yourself till you die. And sometimes I even, have a theory why men don't live as long, is because they work them to death, literally. And so men have to like awaken their inner child and begin to understand that it's okay to have every aspect of their emotions and to be present in communicating their emotions. That is not a simp. That's not sensitive. That's real, because we all have emotions. We're all here to experience our emotions. This is why we're in this reality. It's so we can experience our true emotions. And the thing about it is, even the guys that are macho, they're followers. And the reason they're followers is so crazy, because they're followers. Because they are so afraid that another man is going to call them a simp if they're nice. Make sense of that. Make sense of that. And they may not say it out loud, but that is what's going on. They may not say it, no, what they'll do is that, they'll flex their chest and think, no. We have to integrate our inner child. We have to integrate all those things. We have to go to the root of why we choose the people we choose in our lives. We do that because those are lessons in those people that we are choosing. And each time you choose, you learn to choose better. But let's just flip the script on that. I'm here to help you not choose over and over and over and over again the same busty, crusty person that puts you in trauma over and over again, because they gaslighted you to make you think that little month they may gaslight you. You spend a lifetime waiting for them to give to you what they gave to you when you first met them. And you're never going to see that person ever again. You're not going to see that person ever again. That person has sailed away. It is a distant memory, but you're still in the delusion that they're going to change. They're not going to change, honey. They're not going to change. They can't change. They don't even know how. They learn to harvest your energy so they can have supply. They feed on supply. And it's a hard lesson to learn and to know that they feed like that on supply. But trust me, you understand and best believe, the more you empower yourself, the more you find self, the more you set boundaries. And personally, I did this because I wanted to. I'm not saying y'all need to do this. I like my last two it's crazy. My last two relationships, they both had the same name. They both had me so mentally frustrated. And one of them, like, when I told her my coach, she's like, so who are you coaching? Like, what, and literally critical, even though I have receipts, right? And when you got somebody that's not supporting your wins and not supporting your success, they hate you, and a lot of men hate women They love the resource that she can give him sexually, emotionally, but a lot of them don't like women. They don't like women. So, and it's hard to like come to the place of just really acknowledging that and saying like they don't like women. They don't. That's why they treat women the way they treat women. If a man is treating a woman poorly, he does not like her. He does not like her. And if he has a history of that, he doesn't like women at all. Not at all. Like, not at all. Get the picture. Get the picture. Get the hint. The behavior is the hint. The behavior is the hint. And it was so crazy about them, too, is like when a narcissist gets you mad, they always want to have sex, which is, I think, is so interesting because they want to trauma bond you. And they will trauma bond you, and then they will trauma you and then bond you to the trauma. And that's how they move. So I had a really good day of coaching, and I just wanted to share with you guys to try to make sure you're vetting. And if you haven't been single, and I'm just saying, a lot of people are gonna get triggered by this, but I truly believe that if you're just recently out of a relationship, you should not even be taking anybody serious for a good year. Now, me, I took almost 4 years, but that's something that I wanted to do because I really wanted to work on myself. It had nothing to do with a man. It had nothing to do with a man. It had all to do about Sarah. It had all to do about me. So I just wanted to work on myself. I wanted to work on my business. I wanted to focus on my business, and I wanted to focus on where I see myself in 5 years. What do I want in all my relationships? It wasn't just my love relationship. It's what do I want in my personal relationships, my relationships with my family. What do I really want? And so once you get out of a narcissistic relationship, you really need to go to therapy, and then you really need to like ASAP get a piece of paper and write down your intentions, where you see yourself in 90 days, 6 months to a year. Write that on a piece of paper so you can really look at it from an outside mind's eye and say, hey, these are the mistakes I made in that relationship. And this is what I didn't see. Because once you get out of it, then you see the red flags. That's what's so interesting. You see the red flags once you get out of it. And hopefully you're not in it long enough, so long that you can't even identify when you got into that because you let it go on for so long. So I just thought I would come by, give you guys a shout out. Thank you for watching me for a few minutes. I'm only going to give you 20, half hour because like literally they will shut me down, and I don't know why that is. Remember to look at my profile. I have a Cash App if you want to support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, I have merch in my bio, and also please support Hey Gorgeous, www.heygorgeous.com, and go from Hey You to Hey Gorgeous.